You could jeopardize our television stations.
All right, you think that Johnny's going to jeopardize the whole setup for one rubber-lipped ex-tanker who's walking on his heels?
Hey, welcome back to Talk Word. This is the show where we get curious about the English language, one amazing word at a time. Today, we are jumping into a word that is packed with drama, risk, and high stakes. That word is jeopardize.
So let me ask you this. What could a medieval game of chance possibly have to do with our modern language? It sounds kind of random, right? Well, believe it or not, the answer is hiding in the secret origin of the very word we're exploring today. Let's dig in.
First, I want you to picture this. You've been pouring your heart and soul into a huge project for months. Everything is on the line. And you just know, that one tiny slip-up, one small mistake could bring the whole thing crashing down. We've all felt that pressure, right? Well, there is a perfect word that captures that exact feeling of walking on a tightrope. And that word is jeopardize. It just nails that feeling of putting something you truly care about at risk.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. Officially, to jeopardize something means to put it into a situation where there's a real danger of loss, harm, or failure. And notice, it's a verb, it's an action word. It's not something that just happens, it's about actively putting something important into that dangerous spot.
But here's the really cool part. Where in the world did this word even come from? Honestly, the backstory of jeopardized is what makes it so fascinating and, so much easier to remember. So, follow this journey with me. It all starts way back in Old French with this phrase, Jeopardize. Je means game, and partie means divided, a divided game. So what was that? Well, it described a game with a totally uncertain outcome, 50-50 odds. Think of a coin toss. You could win or you could lose. And that core idea, that feeling of an even chance where anything could happen, that's what evolved into our modern word. When you jeopardize something, you're essentially throwing it into a divided game where success and failure are both on the table. All right, knowing the origin story is super interesting, but let's be real. The main goal here is to get you using this word confidently. So let's switch gears and look at some practical, real-world examples to see how you can start weaving it into your conversations. Let's start with your career, where the stakes can be super high. Things like consistently missing deadlines, that can totally jeopardize your shot at a promotion. Or imagine you're giving a huge client presentation. If it goes badly, it could jeopardize the whole deal. And, of course, sharing confidential company info, that's going to jeopardize your job, for sure. And it's not just for the office. This word works perfectly for our personal lives, especially when we talk about health. These aren't just abstract risks, they're the direct results of our choices. For instance, we all know that smoking can seriously jeopardize your long-term health. Or if you're an athlete, skipping sleep the night before a big race might jeopardize your performance. It's all about those choices that put your goals at risk. Now, if we zoom out to the bigger picture, you'll see jeopardized used all the time for major, widespread issues. Just think about the news headlines you read. An oil spill jeopardized the entire coastal ecosystem. Political instability jeopardizes a country's whole economy. It just has that serious weight to it, which is why it's perfect for these big, important topics. Okay, so you've got the definition down, you know the cool origin story, and you've seen how to use it. But to really, truly master a word, you gotta know its neighbors. So let's take a look at some words that are similar and some that are the complete opposite. Check this out. On the left, we've got the synonyms. Endanger is a classic, very direct. Imperil sounds a bit more formal, even a little more dramatic, right? And compromise is an interesting one because it can mean you're jeopardizing something less tangible, like your integrity. Then on the right, you've got the antonyms, the total opposites. Words like protect, safeguard, secure. These are all about safety and defense. Seeing them side by side like this really makes the meaning of jeopardize pop, doesn't it? It becomes crystal clear. And there you have it. We have completely unpacked the word jeopardize, from its wild roots in a medieval game of chance, all the way to how it's used in global headlines today. You now have all the tools you need to make this powerful word a natural part of your vocabulary. But that brings us to the final and honestly the most important step. Because knowing something is one thing, but using it is everything. So I want you to think about it. How are you going to use the word jeopardize this week? Maybe at work, maybe in an email, maybe just telling a story to a friend. Give it a try. Hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive, guess what? You can create your very own word explainers just like this one. All you have to do is download the TalkWord app. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and we'll catch you on the next one.
will not jeopardize the hundreds of employees of the Columbia Broadcasting System.
You could jeopardize this entire investigation.